Well, hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to this Facebook Live. I'm so excited. We got a real special guest here. I had the pleasure of meeting Racheal when I was in Indianapolis a couple of weeks ago. And here, let me just go ahead and bring her on up. There she is, just an amazing lady. And we went out to a restaurant after the meeting that we had there. And we got into a conversation, and she was actually sharing me with her story. And one of the things I love about this industry and about this business, and especially what we have here with Cili by Design, is the advantage of getting to meet a lot of interesting people and to hear their stories and to know that you're doing good in different people's lives as a result. And that's kind of what happened when Racheal started sharing her story with us. I just was like, I was blown away because there's so many different people out there that have so many different types of health challenges. And we do know that anxiety is one of the bigger reasons why people are turning to CBD right now. So I asked Racheal, and she was gracious enough to oblige to bring her on and just kind of share a little bit of her story. So Racheal, why don't you just give us a little bit of a background of who you are and where you come from and that kind of thing. Just a little background on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm 29 years old. I'll be 30 in 2022, the big 30. I've been married for almost 10 years. I have 2 children. I'm a registered nurse by profession. And then now a CBD entrepreneur with Cili.
Awesome. A registered nurse. Wow. What kind of nursing have you done?
A little bit of cardiac unit, primarily orthopedic surgery. Circulating in the OR and taking care of patients pre and post-op. And then I'm currently doing medical review.
Wow. Great. So now we want to get into the story a little bit of your anxiety. Tell us a little bit about what was going on in your life before you were ever introduced to the Cili Swish and the products.
Okay. So I dealt with anxiety below the surface more so. I think I know we all have a little bit of it day to day. I went through a job change back in August, and I really feel like that during that job change, the transition allowed me to have more time to think about things. And so my anxiety surfaced more so then. Even things I had been dealing with were more present in my mind. So I was really just struggling. I was taking care of my family. And so that's what when I've been trying to share, I tell people that I was taking care of my family. I was working full time, going to church. I was doing all of the things, except things like going to the store. So
there was one story in there that you did share with going to a store. I think it was Walmart, was it?
Yes. A lot of places, but Walmart's the one that sticks out in my mind. We kind of joke about it, but I think we kind of joke about it because it made us feel more comfortable. I would go to Walmart, say, to even just get bread, sit in the parking lot for maybe even up to half an hour of time, and then turn around and go home. I would get home and tell my husband, I'm really sorry. I'd be in tears, but you're going to have to go back to Walmart. I could not get myself to go into the store.
Wow. Do you have any other?
That's what I was dealing with.
Yeah. Do you have any other type of story that does kind of pop up into your mind before you started on the product?
Not particularly. It was really public settings, anywhere like that. I didn't take my kids places by myself. I mean, I couldn't get myself to go, much less take my children with me. I would just have an overwhelming sense of fear of all the scenarios going through my head of things that may happen, while I was in the store, just crazy things. And anything like that, if I was by myself, I mean, I was out.
Wow. Well, it takes a lot of courage on your part to come on to do this live then too. And I really appreciate you doing that. So let me ask you this. How did you get introduced to the Cili Swish? And this is what we're talking about right here, our Cili Swish. This is our flagship product. From our products, our company, Cili by Design. This is a every morning product. And you just take a capful and you swish it around for a full minute, and then you swallow it and away you go. So how did you get introduced to it?
So I was connected to Carla Birch already on Facebook. her daughter had owns a boutique that I had shopped at. And so I had kind of connected with Carla just, through mutual friends. And I had been telling my husband, I said, like, we're going to have to do something. I've been praying and we've been praying and we got to keep praying because God has to help me somehow with this. I had gotten to a place where I knew that I needed something to help me. But I did not want to turn to medications, and it's not because I have anything against them. I just know many people who have gotten worse before they got better with medications for anxiety, and that wasn't a road that I was willing to go down. So I had actually been watching live videos on Facebook that Jerry and Carla Birch were doing with the Cili product, and it was right around the same week that I had told my husband, we've got to pray. We got to have I've got to have something. We need a change, or I need a change for myself. And so I reached out to Carla and said, I've been watching your videos. I know you have something, that you've been talking about for anxiety. I've got to have it. I need it. I need to try it. I told her how I was suffering and what I was dealing with, and so that's kind of how I got connected with her. And no one knew that I was really dealing with the issues that I was. My husband knew because he was living it too. But no one had known. So she was really the first person that I had reached out to when I had seen the product could help with anxiety, because I knew I needed something.
Wow. So it was through Carla's exposure on Facebook that you reached out to her.
Yes.
I want to come back to this because that's going to, I just thought of this question I hadn't thought of earlier. Hopefully I remember to come back to it, but I want you to continue on with your part of the story. So now you got the product through Carla and it arrives at your home, and then tell us what happened. How did you start taking it? What did you notice? How long did it take before you started noticing a difference? Those kinds of things.
Okay. So I actually, when I, got on the phone with Carla, started telling her my story, what I was dealing with. I also had in the back of my mind 2 other people in mind that I wanted to take the product, but I knew I was primarily needed to get myself situated. So I went in and bought an intro pack so I'd have more product. I was going to take it myself and share it from the get-go. And so my product came, we started taking it, my husband and I, and my dad, they were kind of my trial people. Hey, take this with me and let's see if we can get our needs worked out. So I started taking the Cili SWISH every morning. I took it twice a day for the first few days, and I took the Serenity for anxiety and calming. I had a lot of racing thoughts as well, like not like a manic disorder or anything like that, but I just couldn't think straight. So probably within 3 to 4 days of taking the products, the best way I can explain it, and like I shared with my husband, it was like a cloud had been lifted out of my head. I just felt like I could think clearly. I was processing my thoughts better. And even because of that, just being able to feel like I could think straight, there was a sense of calm.
You said that happened in the couple days?
It was probably day 3 or day 4 that I really noticed, like, I can think better. It's hard to explain because, for instance, working in orthopedics, it's like, what do you like about being a nurse in ortho? Well, somebody comes in with a broken arm and we fix it. You can see it broken. Now it's fixed and you send them home. And that's hard in your mind because people can't actually see it. It's not something that you can touch and see. But when I say it's like a cloud was lifted out of my head, it was just clear thinking.
Wow. Well, Racheal, you mentioned the Serenity spray. My lighting's not the best here, but that's the back end of it. That's what it looks like.
Pretty purple one.
Yeah, these sprays are really they're the size of a credit card, fit in your pocket really easy, and you can carry them around with you, right? So have you ever used it like throughout the day where you start to feel a little bit of anxious or something, you can pick this up and spray it?
Yep, absolutely. Many times.
Well, cool. I probably did it before this interview too.
Yes.
No, I'm really excited for you, and I'm happy for you in that you found something that actually helped, that was all natural, that you didn't have to use a medication, something synthetic. I mean, yes, like you say, there's those options out there too, but if you can take care of your body in a way that's all natural, it works with your body to help bring clarity and to relieve you of yourself. You mentioned like you can't see what's going on inside the mind. There's there's other challenges out there. I know fibromyalgia is another one that's out there that, it can be really debilitating. And yet the people that don't have it can't understand it because you don't necessarily see that type of pain that person's living with. They just look like you're normal. And again, we're not making any kind of medical claims. We don't claim to treat, diagnose, cure, or mitigate any sort of illness or disease, but we just know that people notice some positive benefits. So let me ask you, outside of the anxiety, are there any other areas that you've noticed a benefit from since you've been on the products?
Absolutely. When I was working at the surgery center that I worked at, it was probably due to fatigue, but I suffered a lot of headaches. Nothing, I would probably take 3 to 4 ibuprofen multiple days a week for headaches. And
we lost you. Come back, Racheal. Come back. If it's just me or if I lost her or...
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah, now you're back. Yeah. Okay. So you were talking about headaches, but just before we lost you.
Yep. So I've taken ibuprofen minimal time since this product because I will use the relief spray. If I feel a headache coming on, I'll immediately go to the relief spray for that headache relief. And then also sleep. And that's everyone in my household is sleeping better thanks to the sleep spray and the Swish. And my husband and I both were sleeping better, feeling more refreshed through the day, feeling more energized through the day, not getting that afternoon drag that a lot of people experience. We just overall feel so much better in our bodies since we've been taking it.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's one of the things that my wife and I kind of noticed too, Racheal, is that for me and my wife both, it was around the 6-week point. How long have you been on Swish altogether, would you say?
Probably, I think we're going on 3 months.
Okay, 3 months. So yeah, it was about the 6-week period where all of a sudden I noticed I had no creaks in my joints. None of my joints hurt anymore. I'd wake up out of bed completely refreshed and just feeling great. And that's why we encourage people to stay on, not just to try it for a month, but really be on it for 2 to 3 months so you can start to feel the whole shift in the body as it comes more into homeostasis. We're not going to get into all the details of how the product works. Just know that it does work. That's the important thing. You had said that the question I had thought of is you actually reached out to Racheal to Carla, because you had seen her Facebook Lives about this product and thought that it might be able to help you. What would you say to those people that you approach, or, any of us within Cili, we approach these people saying, hey, I think we've got a solution for you, but they're kind of negative. They got that, oh yeah, right, I've heard that before. Oh yeah, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've tried CBD before. What would you kind of say to those people, the naysayers, if you will, about this amazing product that we have?
Well, I think one important thing is, how bad are you suffering? I mean, for me, it was, I knew I needed a change. I'm not necessarily a skeptical person. There's all kinds of companies out there with different products for different reasons. I wasn't afraid to try the product, but I knew I had to have a change. Unfortunately, some people have to get to that low point to where they're going to be willing to try anything. And we don't want them to get to that low point. But I think that's a huge plus to sharing your testimony and not being ashamed of where you came from or the changes that have taken place, because there are a lot of people out there suffering. So if somebody asks me about, in particular, the Serenity and, hey, I saw that you said it helped with anxiety. Oh, I'm absolutely going to share my story. And there may have been a time that I didn't want to, but it's even biblical that part of overcoming the problem is sharing the problem, sharing your testimony. And people need that connection. They need to know that they're not the only one suffering.
Wow, that's powerful. And now you also, you had mentioned an intro pack. For those that aren't familiar, that is a way to get started as a member here. Tell me what's happened since you've gotten started, since you noticed the difference and you started enjoying the fruits of the labor, if you will, as a member with Cili by Design.
Yep. So I was pretty quick to jump on board. When I approached Carla about the Serenity and the Swish for myself, after talking with her, like I said, in the back of my mind, I knew that my husband needed needed to try it for plantar fasciitis and pain in his ankle. And my dad had different aches and pains. And so I had these people already in mind that, you know, while I needed just at the time, what I thought I needed was just the relief of anxiety. I needed much more from it. I just didn't know that. But I knew other people already that could benefit from this. And the testimonies I had seen and the research I had done, I felt like I just couldn't, you know, I had to share it from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I started sharing it before I even personally had my testimony. And it's just been amazing. The testimonies come in all the time for different things, you know.
Would you like to share one of those? So somebody that you have helped out by sharing this product?
Yep, absolutely. My husband in particular, like I mentioned, that he had plantar fasciitis. We got our products in the afternoon. Our mail had ran in the afternoon, so we had got our products probably around 3 or 4 o'clock. So we opened up the box and we're like, we're taking this right now. We got to get started. And so he took the relief spray and the swish. And before he even went to bed that night, he said, you know, I think that I have relief in my foot, but he was kind of like, I'm not going to say that it's the swish yet. You know, I'm not going to say that it's the product. And in my mind, I'm like, yeah, it's working. You just don't know it. Probably within the first week, he started coming home from work not limping. So he would limp when he got out of bed in the morning after working all day. Anytime he had sat for a long period of time, when he would get up to walk, he would limp. And I said, you know, we've been taking it about 3 months. I would say for a solid 2 of those months, maybe even a little bit longer, he's not complained about his foot and ankle pain at all. So it's totally helped with that inflammation in his foot.
Awesome. That's fantastic. We'll close this out, but we do appreciate everybody that's tuned in and looked at this. And if you're a friend or associated with Racheal, please go to her site. And if you're associated with me or you're friends with me, I encourage you to go to my site. I will drop that in the comments here in just a little bit. But Racheal, let me just close this out and give you any final words that you would have like to add as well. But I'd like to ask you this final question: is that since you found Cili, if you were to try to surmise all this, since you found Cili, since you've now got your entrepreneurial spirit and your wheels turning and starting to make money here and going through the ranks, how would you say it's changed your overall life, or what other positive benefits have you noticed outside of just taking the product? What have you noticed as a difference or as a positive outcome of being connected now with Cili by Design?
The friendships I have made, and I have friends, you know, here locally and things. So it's not like I didn't, but I've met so many great people through this. You know, even Carla, we talk daily, which we're working the business together as well. But I've made a lot of new friendships. It kind of gave me a new purpose, so to speak. And like I always explain to people who are interested in the business, it's like a twofold blessing. You know, you're getting to offer a product to people and an opportunity to people that they need and that works and that's good. And then you're getting paid as well. So it's not all about the sales. You know, we share this with everyone, anybody that we know. You get to see those testimonies come in. And when you're getting texts and calls that say, you know, I haven't slept like this in years, or, you know, I've had back pain for 20 years and, you know, and I can sit down for a long period of time without my lower back hurting. That's worth it. And then it's a plus for us as well on the business side, because we're getting rewarded, you know, for sharing. And as far as the purpose, it's just opened up my mind to more possibilities. It's given me a drive to do better and succeed and to make things happen for my children and my family, and myself. And it's just given me a lot of motivation, you know, on a personal side as well.
That's awesome. I love it. Racheal, I want to thank you again so much for coming on and doing this webinar in front of all these people.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And she has pushed through her anxiety, folks.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, that is amazing. I wish you all the best. We're going to see each other around the block a lot. And for anyone that is looking at either our products or at our business opportunity, I encourage you to do so. Get in touch with Racheal, get in touch with myself. We'll be happy to get you started on your way as well. Thank you again, Racheal, so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.